Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Mark here, campers, and we are going to be taking a look at some Star Wars Unlimited leaders today for the second set, Shadows of the Galaxy, due to come out in early July. Now, whether you're preparing for your pre-release event or you're excited about these cards along with me and you can't wait to get your hands on some of them and begin building and deck crafting, I just wanted to take some time and take a look at each of the leaders. Probably not going to be reviewing all of the cards for this set, but I am going to be highlighting some of the leaders that I'm excited about and some of the cards that I'm excited about in future videos. So go ahead, take a moment, like and subscribe so that you can see the future content that's going to be coming out. I'm going to be talking a lot about Star Wars Unlimited in the week or so leading up to the release of Shadows of the Galaxy. Now, with no further ado, we're going to be taking a look at all of the leaders in the Cunning faction today. There are 5 of them because there are 3 of them in Heroism, 2 of them in Villainy, because we are going to get our starter set Heroism card in this faction. So let's go ahead and take a look at the cards. Let's start, as always, with our Villainy factions, with probably one of the most exciting leaders for most Star Wars fans, Cad Bane. He who needs no introduction, and indeed, Cad, you do not. It says this: when you play an Underworld card, which he is an Underworld bounty hunter, so Underworld is just a tag, you may exhaust this leader. If you do, an opponent chooses a unit they control to deal 1 damage to it. And then epic action, he flips on 6. Let's take a look at his back really quick. His back says Raid 2. He comes down as a 6 resource 2/8. Huge health pool here. And on attacking, he is a 4/8, so that's not bad. He does come out 1 turn later than, his counterpart in the same exact factions, Boba Fett, but Boba Fett, when he comes out, does have a straight 4 with 7 health. So he's 1 more health, and Cad Bane gets the Raid 2, probably worse than Boba Fett, but maybe his ability is better. His ability says when you play an Underworld card, you may choose an opponent. They choose a unit they control, deal 2 damage to it. Use this ability only once each round. Okay, so here's a couple of things that I really like about Cad Bane. A, it is incremental, reliable damage that you can even get out on turn 1, guys, which is fantastic. It's just going to be pinging away and making your opponent's board a little less resilient. There's a ton of Underworld cards that are coming out in this set that you'll be able to showcase in this Cad Bane deck, along with some Underworld cards in set 1 as well. It's going to be easy to get your hands on this guy because in draft he's going to be common, so it's going to be pretty easy to get him, which is also very exciting whenever you're playing either drafting or your pre-release event. And there are a lot of Underworld cards. You're going to be able to use him pretty reliably. I mean, his flip side, yeah, he's probably not quite as good as Boba Fett in the same faction. If there's anything that overshadows Cad, it will be that. But he does get both Raid 2 and the ability to deal 2 damage. Your opponent is choosing where that damage goes, but honestly, I think Cad's going to keep stuff off the board to the point that very frequently your opponent's only going to have 1 target. You're just going to be able to whittle away that target and get a bunch of damage on it with Cad's ability. And you're going to be able to do this pretty much every single round. One of the few decks that I think you want to go second with, so that you can put out something and ping your opponent's stuff right in round 1, which I think is just fantastic. I did see some people saying playing this with green with Energy Conversion Lab can allow you to throw out an Underworld card and deal a damage to something your opponents put on the board and attack with it. It's going to absolutely slaughter things like TIE Fighter, Death Star Stormtroopers. Anything that's going to come down on turn 1 with 1 health is really interesting as well. You could play this with on turn 1 with Tarkin Town, be able to, someone puts out, their 3/3 Battlefield Marine, you drop an Underworld unit, ping it, and then kill it off with your epic action on your base on turn 1, being able to just get a really strong hold on base turn 1, I think is really good. So yeah, really like Cad Bane. His hyperspace variant looks great. I think he's beautiful in hyperspace. He's a little far away from me. Let's take a look at his showcase variant. Showcase variant is so fun. I love that his hand sort of comes over the roll box for the card here, which is really nice. Getting his dual pistols out, got that grimace look, a gritted look on his face. Definitely a lot of people who are going to be chasing Cad Bane, and specifically Cad Bane's showcase card. Glad that he's at the common slot for sure. I think Cad Bane might be one of the strongest leaders in the set. That's no surprise to a lot of people, probably. Let's move on. Doctor Aphra, Rapadicious Archaeologist? Rapish. Okay, I can't even pronounce that. She's the archaeologist. When the regroup phase starts, discard a card from your deck. Epic action: if you control 5 or more resources, deploy this leader. She's going to allow you to peel stuff off your deck. She's coming to play as a 5 resource, coming down a 2/5. Not great, right? 4/7 for Boba Fett in the same faction killers. And then while there are 5 or more different costs among cards in your discard pile, this card unit gets +3/+0, making her a 5/5. Ooh, but you have to have 5 cards in your discard that have 5 different resource costs. That's not easy, even when you're doing this every turn. And you must do it. When deployed, choose 3 cards from your discard pile with different names. If you do, return one of them to your hand at random. You don't even get to pick it. And this isn't like a variant. Like, it's not like, ooh, yeah, I don't like Doctor Aphra. I don't like Doctor Aphra, guys. I think this is going to be a lot harder to pull off than it seems. You very rarely want to deploy your leader after the round that you can deploy them. Like the first round you can deploy them, you want that to be your swing turn, especially at 5 resources. You want it to be your swing turn, and you cannot swing with Aphra at that point. And then when you flip her, you diminish her chances of having 5 attack, and she doesn't keep putting things in your discard. So she's not going to naturally get the bonus on her own. And she's not going to be hard to remove with 5 health and only 2 attack. I'm not impressed by this at all. The best thing that Doctor Aphra has going for her is that she's Cunning Villainy. Let's take a look at her Hyperspace variant. Hyperspace variant, honestly, I would say is better, but it's not a whole lot better than her base variant. Let's take a look at her Showcase. I think the Showcase is not bad, but it's actually sort of like less action going on than this version, where it looks like she's falling downwards, backwards, and shooting upwards. The Showcase isn't bad, but I don't think it's great. It reminds me a lot of the Sabine Showcase from set 1 that I wasn't thrilled with. I would say I'm not thrilled with this one either. Dr. Aphra, folks. I think that one flopped. The next one is Fennec Sand, honoring the deal. This is going to be a heroism Cunning, and she is an underworld, but heroism, interesting. Action: spend a resource and exhaust her. Play a unit that costs 4 or less from your hand, paying its cost. Give it ambush for this phase, and after you play the unit, it may ready an attack. Epic action is going to flip on 5. On 5, she's a 4/4. Yikes. Without a shield, she has Saboteur. And then action: play a unit that costs 4 or more from your hand, paying its cost. Give it ambush for this phase. So we know that ambush is really strong. The question is ambush really strong when you always have to pay 1 more for it? And I think the answer to that question is yes. Is ambush really strong when it's an unlimited number of times and you don't have to pay 1 more for it? On her flip side, yes. Is she a 4/4 on 5? Yes. Saboteur is interesting because you can use her without having to, like, you're going to want some sentinels, some way to defend Fennec, because she's going to die pretty quickly. But I don't ever want to underestimate the ability to give things ambush, because that can just let you compete for board so freaking well in this game. Even on turn 1, honestly, being able to use this on a 1-drop, to drop it and attack with it on turn 1 is pretty strong if you're competing for board. This is an interesting sort of mid-rangey card, I think. Let's take a look at the alt art, or the Showcase. Showcase looks great. Let's take a look at the, that was Hyperspace. This is Showcase. Ooh, Showcase for this is nice. This reminds me a lot of the Showcase that we had for Iden. Just kind of a slightly closer up, good look for her. I like this Showcase, I think, more than the base, although the base is not bad. I really do like the base. I think the Showcase is really nice for this one. Fennec, I don't know exactly what to feel about her, but I think she's good. I think that she's probably one of the better heroism cards we've seen, maybe with the exception of my my Wookiee Han Solo deck. The Mandalorian, Sworn to the Creed. This is going to be a when you play an upgrade, you may exhaust this leader if you do exhaust an enemy unit with 4 or less remaining HP. You know, if upgrades are good, which they're releasing a lot of upgrades, you got the Dark Saber, you got Mandalorian's armor, you got Boba Fett's armor, you got a ton of upgrades in this set. So I think that upgrades are going to be good. This is going to be an upgrade-centric deck. I think this is great for Ultron players that want to stack a bunch of stuff on one character. And if you like the Mandalorian, I think personally, I know some of the other cards that are coming out in the set. I think the Mandalorian is going to be quite strong. This is going to be the card that you're going to get in the 2-player starter kit as well, so it won't be hard to get your hands on. His flip is, at 6, he's a 4/7, so 1 turn later than Boba Fett, same stats as Boba Fett. Once again, that's our go-to comparison. I don't think it's a huge deal for it to happen 1 turn later. 4/7's great. When you play an upgrade, you may exhaust an enemy unit with 6 or less remaining HP. This is going to give the Mandalorian the ability to just really, really, really control the board. Very much so control the board. Once again, let's look at the hyperspace. The hyperspace looks beautiful. This may only be something that you can pick up in cons or maybe in stores as prizes. I'm not 100% sure yet. Once again, the Luke and Vader hyperspace were just promos that you were able to get at cons. But one thing they didn't do with Luke and Vader was give you a showcase, and they do give you one here. And this Mandalorian showcase is gorgeous. It is beautiful, and it makes me want to play the Mandalorian. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the Mandalorian show. I don't hate it. I'm just not jazzed out of my mind for it. I think they did some cool stuff with it, and obviously he's a fan favorite. You are going to get Grogu in the starter set too, which is a 2-resource 0/5 Force user that gets to exhaust stuff. You play that with the Mandalorian, plays very well together, right? You play Grogu out, you start exhausting stuff. You play upgrades on Grogu or your other units, you start exhausting stuff. You do have a really cheap Force unit for things like yellow-red Force throw deck. You could run some lightsabers in it if you want to. You want to run Jedi lightsaber, you want to play yellow-blue. I think that plays well together. You do also have a legendary Mandalorian card, which is a Vigilance, a blue card, so it would play well in that. I think Mandalorian is probably the best of the Vigilance units that are in Heroism, and I'm really excited that everyone's going to easily be able to get their hands on this. Probably both in the pre-release kit, which I'm not 100% sure what's in that. I haven't looked yet, but also in the starter set, the 2-player starter set for this set. So, yeah, great. I think Mandalorian's cool. Get Mandalorian's rifle in this one, too. Lots of really cool upgrades you can play with him. He's just going to keep exhausting your opponent's board and keep him shut down. Be really interesting. You're going to want to have initiative a lot with this deck so that you can just play your upgrade, exhaust your opponent's unit that was going to be able to remove your thing that's getting the upgrade, and then be able to use your upgraded unit to remove something else or deal damage to face or the base. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Like the Mandalorian a lot. Okay, so once again, Cad Bane, Doctor Aphra, Fennec Shan, Lando Calrissian. Oh, we never looked at Lando. I skipped right over him in the Mandalorian. Let's go back and take a look at Lando. Not sure how I skipped over him. Another Cunning and Heroism unit. Cool that he's a Heroism unit. This is also, looks like sort of the younger Lando that we see in the Solo movie. With impeccable taste, he's called. Action, he has Underworld. Action, exhaust him. Play a card using Smuggle. It costs 2 less. Defeat a resource you own and control. Okay, play a card using Smuggle. It costs 2 less. Defeat a resource you own and control. And then he flips on 4, guys, as a 2/5. Whew, okay. Same as, we got the same stat line and flip point as a Sabine here. Action, play a card using Smuggle. It costs 2 less. Defeat a resource you own and control. Use this ability only once each round. So it's interesting. This allows you to play stuff down with Smuggle. And a lot of times, Smuggles can increase the cost of that card by 1 or 2. This is hurting your resources, your resource row, but it's allowing you to smuggle things out basically at cost. So it's increasing your hand size. Increasing your hand size, hurting your resources. But you might play a deck that's really low to the ground. You don't really care. Keep resourcing stuff. Maybe there is some stuff that can be smuggled in really cheap with this card. And I think that is fantastic. Also, it's not really hurting your action economy, because although on his one side you're using your action to smuggle something, that smuggling would have cost you an action to play something anyway. I think Lando's super fun. I don't know how good he is. It depends a lot on how good Smuggle ends up really being, because oftentimes it's sort of like overcosted. You don't want everything in your deck to have Smuggle, but you do want some things in your deck to have Smuggle. It's super fitting for him to work with Smuggle. Let's take a look at his Hyperspace. Hyperspace, pretty cool. Doesn't add in a lot to the card. Let's take a look then at his Showcase. The Showcase, however, is very cool. You got the Millennium Falcon in the background of this card. I think the Showcase is gorgeous. I like the fact that he's even popped out over his name with his hair here a little bit. I think that looks really good. Yes, I dig this card. I really dig Lando. I like his Showcase a lot, too. Looks beautiful. Okay, so that was Cad Bane, Doctor Aphra, Fennec, Lando, and the Mandalorian. In order of the ones that I like, for the ones that I don't like: Cad Bane, Mandalorian, Fennec Shan, Lando, and then Doctor Aphra. And I might be willing to swap out that Lando and Fennec. Could be Cad, Mando, Lando, Fennec, or Fennec, Lando. And then certainly Doctor Aphra is my least favorite. I think it's going to be one of, if not the worst leaders in set 2. Let me know what you guys think. Did I get the order right? Do you like them? Do you not like them? Which cards are you most excited to check out? Which leaders are you most excited to cook with and build a deck with? As always, like and subscribe to the channel here for more Star Wars Unlimited, Lorcana, and Pokemon content. And check out the link in the description of this video for both our Patreon page if you'd like to support us to make more content, and also join our Discord, which we've been doing a full overhaul on. It's much more usable now. Come on over and hang out with us in Discord. Let us know what you're cooking and what you're building. We'd love to see you there. That's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you for stopping by and hanging out. I totally forgot to go back to the screen, but I'm at it now. Have a great day, everybody. Have fun in Star Wars Unlimited, and I'll see you in the next video.